Hello, this is Yvonne Teoh Bource from Connect to Soul with the weekly discourse and soul wisdom for the week of the 15th of January 2018. And I wish you a wonderful week. This year seems to have an energy that is so much lighter and so much more, for me, it's proactive. It's like I have this energy behind me that is, on one hand, feeling very supportive and much lighter, and on the other hand, is pushing to get me to not rest on my laurels or to stay inactive. So it's been a busy beginning of the year, but a wonderful beginning of the year. There's an opportunity to work with some fabulous people, to do some great workshops and some wonderful empowerment coaching. And it just, for me, that is the way that I live. It's what I'm passionate about. And when I see people grow and expand and explore, the possibilities that are still dormant within, that is when I get my rewards. So a topic that's come up a fair bit lately is the idea of unconditional love, and is that achievable for us humans? So I just want you to give that some thought. When I first came across the term unconditional love, I looked at it and I thought, well, as a human being at that time, that seemed to be completely unattainable for me. Because you see, I was brought up by someone who was judge, jury, and executioner, and only saw the world through right and wrong. And when I look back at that, that was wonderful training for me, because once I was able to let that go, that was, such a relief. When most of my life I had modeled myself after that, and so I saw the world through either right or wrong, good or bad, which is a terribly heavy burden to carry, because you have to set standards, and you never know, what sort of standards to set. Well, I didn't know. I wasn't really self-aware at the time. So once I got beyond needing to have good and bad and right and wrong as my guiding forces, I was able to look at unconditional love anew. And because I like to look at language and pull it apart, I thought, well, okay, the opposite of unconditional love is conditional love. And so when we talk about love, is that conditional? And unfortunately, when I really looked into it, I had to say yes, because we have been programmed, I suppose, to love things that we like, love things that are good for us, love things or people who love us back. And if you don't love me back, then I break my heart if I love you, and I go and lick my wounds, and then have to get over that somehow, find a way to not love you anymore. Otherwise, I'm going to have a wounded heart for the rest of my life. And I just thought, well, that was all not something that I would like to continue to have as part of a belief system and part of a thought process within me, because it didn't serve me in any way, shape, or form. So I decided to look at love very differently, and that is when, in my first book, Pearls of Vision, Daily Thoughts for Daily Living, I wrote a phrase which said, love is not something that you do, love is something that you become. And I looked at that very seriously, and that became my mission. My mission for me became that I needed to become love itself. And I looked at the energy of love, and I recognized that the energy of love is the same energy as life. It's the same energy as creation. So when I was able to elevate my understanding and connotation of the word love and put it into what it actually is, for me, that love is something that is the equivalent of life, because the creation of life and the creation of all things isn't possible without it being an energy of love. If it's an energy of less than love, there is no forward movement, there is no life. So once I was able to see love from that perspective, I was able to also make a choice in my life that I would choose to love. Just as I would get up in the morning and know that because I was awake, I was alive, and therefore life was flowing in me, through me, and for me, I was also in a state of love. And therefore, I choose to love. I choose to love you, not because of who you are or what you are or whatever, but because loving feels good to me. It's purely selfish, as I always say, because the more I love, the better I feel. And if I turn that into a conditional love where I can't love you because of something that you said, something that you did, something you're wearing, somebody who you're with, or something that I don't like, then it makes me less. If I stop loving, it makes me less. And my whole journey in this lifetime, in the last 30 years, is to expand, to give this life force within me the opportunity to become expanded and to explore life to the fullest. So therefore I need to find a way that that's possible. And I found my way that the more that I love, the more expanded this life force is able to be. So then where does unconditional love come in? So for me to look at unconditional love is obviously a place where you take away any conditions for the purpose of loving, which ultimately, of course, I did. And I share a little story with you that I've shared, with people often, and that is I had a brother, a beautiful man, but he was emotionally unavailable to the people that were close to him. And so, as his only sister, I was probably as close as one could get. We were together through some pretty, tumultuous things in our early childhood as we went through the Second World War together as children. And so me as a baby, he was 5 years older, and he used to look up to him, and I used to think, well, he was my older brother, and so I had a bit of a hero worship. But he was not exactly what you might call well, the word good doesn't come up really. He was challenged, and the way that he lived his life was not the way that I wanted to live my life. And so he was involved in some activities that I certainly couldn't possibly be involved with. He was an incredibly talented, beautiful, beautiful person. Charm dripping off him, very, very clever. But as far as someone who you have close to you, it was a very painful thing because he wasn't capable of expressing, love in a great way, and so he was often very silent. And I would go and visit him, and the biggest thing that I would get out of him was he would say, I'd get there and he'd look really excited to see me, which I know that he was, and he would say, "Oh, hi, Bonnie," and kiss, kiss, right? But that was probably the end of the conversation. So for me, the visit was always, I would then spend my time with his wife, bless her, and we would chit-chat like women do, and then by the time I left, I would say, well, bye, darling, and he would say, oh, bye, Bonnie, and that was the end of it, and there was really no communication. So I remember coming home one day and standing all by myself in the lounge room saying, well, if I had to have one brother, in this lifetime? Why did I choose this? And I did swear, arsehole, because I was really cross at the time. And as quick as I'd said that, I was like, I don't hear voices, but it was like this boom in my head which said, well, what a gift to learn unconditional love. Because I adored him. I knew who he was. I knew I didn't approve of some of the things that he did, but it didn't stop me loving him. And I went, oh my Lord. That aha moment was so huge for me that it showed me that it didn't matter whether he talked to me or not, whether he did things that I couldn't possibly agree with at times. My love for him went way beyond that. I loved him because he was my brother. I loved him because I felt his pain of the inability to communicate, I suppose. And so that gift to this day I hold very close to my heart. I overcame his inability to communicate with me before he passed away, and that certainly was something that I was very grateful for, because once I knew that he was my gift to learn unconditional love, I dropped having any idea of judging his behavior or having an opinion about it, other than I just wanted to be with him and I wanted to have time that was quality time. And that is what we ultimately did for 4 years before he died. That when he was well enough, we would spend one lunchtime every month, just the two of us, and we would talk. And he called them our D&Ms, and he was a businessman, but he would not ever give that up while he could. And so my ability to give him that unconditional love opened him up. And this is the gift, I guess, that unconditional love gives you. When you can step into a place where you let go of a set of rules that people have to meet or things have to meet for you to give them your blessings to love them, right? I mean, when you think about it, it's pretty silly. When you can let go of that and you can look love in the face and you go, you know what? Love is a choice. Love is a choice. If I'm alive, I have the choice to actually live this life in misery or in love. Well, there are enough people on this earth that live it in misery, and we need more people to live it in love. And so, if you can give yourself any gift at all in this lifetime, take yourself to a place where you can choose to love, to be the energy of love, which is an energy of expanded awareness. It's an energy of openness. It's an energy of inclusiveness. It's an energy of bringing yourself and others together. It's definitely a place where all is well. It is a state of total well-being. However, I also learned that I was not able to get to that level of love, unconditional, until I was able to turn inward and look at me with exactly the same energy, where I could look at this body that is representative of this me in this lifetime. If I could not love every part of myself with the same energy that I choose and I chose to love life and everything and everyone around me, then there was always something not quite right. So the first step to unconditional love is to take that inward and to go, you know what? I have to take myself to that place where I can accept all of me, warts and all, and love it. because without those warts and all, I wouldn't be who I am and what I, am experiencing right now. So it is a total removal of any kind of opinion and judgment that interferes or lessens the energy of love. That is what is unconditional love. And yes, it is achievable. It is achievable. Maybe not 24 hours a day, because I do think it is something that I'm certainly still striving for. I find myself becoming very physical at times and look at something outside of me and go, oh, I don't think I really like that. But I can then go, however, is it lessening the love I am? Do I need to like what I love? And no, you don't. I didn't like a lot of things that my brother did, but boy, I was able to love him anyway. I didn't like a lot of things that my father did because he was such a judge of everything and he hated people and I love people. And so we had things that were not in common, but I learned to put that aside and to choose to love him anyway, because not loving him made me less. Now I'm going to say that again. By not loving, it makes me less. And I do not want this lifetime to be wasted on anything that is going to make me less than the full expanded version of the life force in me, through me, and for me. So I don't know, maybe it will sound like a very big thing for you to work towards, but it all starts with a decision. If you make a decision that this is something that you really want to achieve, this is something that you really want to feel, because I tell you, once you feel it, you never want to let go of it. Never want to let go of it. Why would anyone want to let go of becoming the energy of love, which is the energy of light? So yes, I do believe, from my perspective, that unconditional love, love without condition, is not only attainable, it is something to strive for and to not settle for anything less than for. Wow, that's a biggie. I have to say, though, that once I've come to that place in my life, that everything that I do, all my teaching, my coaching, my programs, everything I do, that is the base for it. It's what I strive for to share with everyone that I am in contact with. So if you would like some coaching, some personal coaching, or you would like to join me on any of the programs that I run, such as the Bali Retreat, which starts on the 10th of May this year, the Inspired Manifestation Masterclass, now that is going to take you to a whole different level of vibrational frequency, and that starts on the 7th of February, and I still have a couple of places left for that. So if you are local and you would like to join me, then please let me know. And if you want to visit my website, all the links are down underneath this video clip, and just follow the links. There's also my email address, and I'm very happy if you send me an email, and I certainly will answer you. So there you go. That is really this week's discourse about unconditional love. So now, before I leave you, let's have a look if I can ask the keepers of the light to give me some soul wisdom to just to, give it a little bit more of a little bit more of an oomph. And so It's not happening, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay, here we go. So what I've pulled out is El Mariah, which is one of the keepers of the light, or ascended masters as I call him, and he talks about awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. Wow. Well, a cloak of protection, I guess for me, is the fact that when you choose to be love, that is your cloak of protection. Um, I'm not such a big believer in protection. I'm more a believer in vibrational frequencies, and so therefore, when I live in love, then that vibrational frequency takes me to a place where all good things of a high vibration live, and that is what my experience of life is at that stage. And so then you will become an awakened presence, and you will find yourself as one with the universe, which after all, this life force that's in you is in everything, then that is unconditional love on steroids, and it will give you such joy and such love within and such inner peace. So being an awakening presence is what unconditional love will most definitely give you. And I just wish for you to have that. It's not always easy to do, but once you make a decision, this is how you want to live your life, I can assure you that all the opportunities will come forward to support that. And just in case you haven't noticed, I have added some green into my office because this particular wonderful peace lily actually doesn't live in this room. It normally lives in my other room. And I realized that my office, where I do my coaching, where I do, where my desk is, didn't have any green. It has plenty of green outside the window, as you can tell, but I was missing some green. And so I went out and bought myself this beautiful plant right here. Oh, that's not easy to do. And I didn't know that peace lilies actually come in several varieties. And so that's a peace lily with smaller leaves, and that is an expanded, larger, most beautiful peace lily that is now also part of my life and is living in my room. And doesn't it feel good to be surrounded by green and by nature in its full expression? So I wish you well. I wish you unconditional love. I do hope that you have enjoyed this discourse, and that I hear from you, because the more that you communicate with me, the more that will inspire me to do more of what I'm doing. And I really just would like to connect with you in real life, either through a message, or an email or a phone call, or you come to do one of my programs and join the Connect to Soul community, which is a community of unconditional love. So have a wonderful week, and be kind to you, and remember, above all, love yourself unconditionally. I love you. Have a great week.